It's time to show some more excellent defense, and we're going to be doing it this time with the Detroit Pistons. This early play really shows the flexibility that the Pistons have with a guy like Cade Cunningham. Evan Mobley's coming off of this inverted pick and roll, and what he hopes to be a potential mismatch if the Pistons switch actually turns out to be a pretty disastrous situation where Cade actually holds his ground, and he doesn't move at all on any of those Evan Mobley bumps. Mobley actually loses his handle after a couple of collisions, and he turns it over. Here's another example with Evan Mobley on the ball. He decides to just get downhill and try to attack Tobias Harris, but once again, Tobias Harris holding his ground, good size, really strong, taking the bumps, not moving at all, forcing Evan Mobley into a turnaround jumper at the free throw line, which he then has to kind of bail out of, and it's another turnover, and it's points for Duncan Robinson. Here's some mismatch hunting action for James Harden. He's got Dennis Jenkins on him. Dennis Schroeder actually comes over to set a screen, but he definitely does not want Asar Thompson on the switch, so Dennis Schroeder actually exits out, and then here comes Max Strus. Now Harden has what he wants. He's got Duncan Robinson pretty much on an island at the three-point line, but here comes Jalen Duren showing away in help. Asar Thompson is going to be cheating away from a streaky shooting Dennis Schroeder so that he can front and take away the potential lob to Jared Allen, and all of a sudden it's a crowded area for James Harden to work along the baseline, and we get this little fadeaway pull-up two that misses. It's another stop for the Pistons. I really like seeing when weaker defenders actually get aggressive and aren't afraid to get beat, and effectively taking away some additional shot clock. We get this really high ball screen with Max Strus and Harden. That way he gets the favorable switch on Duncan Robinson again, but Duncan actually boxes it in and does not allow him to get to that sideline, essentially forcing him to turn back around. And now we've got about 7 seconds and Harden is way out at the three-point line. He finally does manage to cross over left to right to get by Duncan Robinson, but Duncan stays along for this drive, and here's that familiar shrinking defense by the Pistons. Isaiah Stewart showing up in the paint, Dennis Jenkins cheating away from the corner man to be able to front that potential pass and make it difficult for Jared Allen. Asar Thompson is also cheating over, and Duncan Robinson actually manages to force Harden to basically throw it away. This play right here epitomizes the Pistons' resilience in one single possession. And it's right here where Asar Thompson's guarding Donovan Mitchell in transition. Donovan goes for that high pickup that we know he likes to do, but he kind of loses his footing and he bails out of that, makes a wild pass that somehow still gets saved. The Pistons are still in a good spot where everyone's recovered. The ball finds Jalen Tyson, who's coming off this ball screen by Evan Mobley. He's getting downhill. Now they've got a little bit of a numbers advantage, but here's that Detroit crowd again. Cade Cunningham cheating away from the corner. Duncan Robinson shading over from the wing. We have Isaiah Stewart playing some gap defense, with Asar Thompson also showing a little bit. Jalen Tyson is snaking his way into the lane. He keeps Dennis Jenkins in jail. There's nice active hands by Isaiah Stewart. It forces Jalen Tyson to throw a pretty hard pass to try to get it through. Evan Mobley actually is able to secure it, but he's surrounded by a crowd of Pistons players here, and he still finds a way to get it to Dennis Schroeder, who makes the +1 to Max Strus, and the Pistons are back fully recovered again. And before Strus can do anything else, there's the poke by Asar Thompson, but it still finds its way into the hands of Donovan Mitchell, with Dennis Jenkins having to complete the stop here. He stays attached to Donovan Mitchell. He doesn't overreact to the hezi, and then he just forces him into this turnaround going back to his left. It's a miss. Cunningham actually grabs the board, and it's just immediately his eyes are up, throws it ahead to Dennis Jenkins, who finishes the play with a dunk. As if Harden hasn't had enough issues with some of the other Detroit defenders. Here's Ron Holland just completely frustrating James Harden, all up in his airspace, 94 feet. Jalen Tyson is trying to free up Harden as best as he can. He actually hits him nicely with that screen. Now Ron Holland actually has to sprint back to get back into position. He catches back up to Harden, and here we see the shrinking defense. It's Dennis Jenkins with his hands really low to prevent some potential backdoor bounce passes. It's Isaiah Stewart in the paint. It's Cade Cunningham shading over a little bit to help out on Jared Allen. And before you know it, Ron Holland gets his hand on the ball and Harden loses it, and it's another turnover. And how about Ron Holland with back-to-back big stops on James Harden? He's got Harden here in the corner with Jared Allen trying to free him up, and with Harden's only real space to go left, he makes the decision to go that way. He knows that there's Isaiah Stewart Stewart. He still has Ron Holland on him. Cade Cunningham is also in the paint. They've got Dennis Jenkins and Tobias Harris all shading over to this drive. And with that physicality from Ron Holland, James Harden just loses the handle. It's a turnover and they're going the other way. Here's another example of the Pistons just crowding on drives and taking away that next pass. We got Dennis Jenkins fully pressuring Donovan Mitchell. Jalen Duren is basically waiting for Donovan Mitchell, and Tobias Harris really intelligently is going to take away that next pass to Jared Allen, and another turnover for the Cavs. These guys make fantastic defensive plays, from Cade Cunningham chasing down Dennis Schroeder off of a give and go and swatting him on a reverse layup. It's Tobias Harris backpedaling with Donovan Mitchell getting downhill, and he gets a hand on the ball to force that turnover. It's guys swarming the paint touches and Cade sprinting out to block Max Strus on a corner three. Time and time again, the Pistons have put together an excellent level of defense, and we've got to credit JB Bickerstaff for putting together an unbelievable game plan.